See, our testimony is powerful in the hands of the Lord. A testimony of God's power to change a life, to perform a miracle is so beneficial to the kingdom of God. Very often it's what leads others who don't know the Lord to have saving faith in Jesus Christ. It is powerful. We should be open and ready to share it. Well, what is a testimony? It's the life that we live and the words that we speak. It's the life that we live, a miraculous intervention of God, a story, we call them God stories around here, where God did something for you. It's the life that we live as people watch our life say, there's something different about you. You don't live like the rest of us here. What is that? And it opens up a door oftentimes to share. Now, a conflicting lifestyle of words and deeds is also a testimony, but it's a bad testimony. Nothing is more damaging to someone coming to the Lord than someone who professes to be a Christian and yet lives an ungodly life. And I'm not talking about people that make mistakes. I'm talking about people who are, the Bible calls them hypocrites. And it comes from that Greek word of the actors who would put a mask on, actually hiding, pretending to be somebody that they aren't. I'm not talking about just a well-intentioned heart, people make mistakes. I'm talking about people who are intentionally saying one thing and living another way. That is such a horrible testimony. It can do damage to people's lives. Now, in 1985, that was my last season of playing baseball here in America before I went to Japan. I had started off in the major leagues that year, got sent down. That's kind of a blow. And at the end of the season, typically they'll bring players back up to the major leagues. And I thought I would be one of those call-ups. And surprisingly, I wasn't. And it really discouraged me, like, oh my gosh, I had a pretty good year and they're not gonna call me up. And my manager, Tom Troublehorn at that time, had to come and tell me the news. And Tom was a good guy, but showed no interest in the things of God. I would try to create conversation during the year about God, and he just wanted none of it and just avoided it. And not a bad guy, but just didn't want God. And he told me, he said, Doug, he said, I know you're discouraged. He said, but I've watched you this year. And you know, Doug, he says, I might have to give Christianity a second look. And he didn't really go into detail, but I'm guessing that just from my lifestyle, from our relationship, that it had a positive effect on him. And it took a very bitter situation and it made it a little bit sweeter that I could handle it and say, well, at least God used me to help move him more towards the Lord. I had a Foursquare pastor friend when we were in the Foursquare denomination back in Colorado, had a unique way that he would view people. He said, Doug, I view people, you know, at different places with the Lord. In fact, I give each person kind of in my mind a numeric value. For instance, if somebody is an on-fire Christian, they're a 10. If somebody is the Antichrist, you know, they're a 1. He goes, my goal is that I have relationship with them, and as I have contact with them, I'm hopeful that eventually that 1 will become a 2 because of my influence, and that 4 will become a 5. He goes, I just want to influence people for the Lord. I said, well, that's awesome. I think it's a great way of looking at it. He uses testimony and his lifestyle.